In the previous video, we were given inventory values, but we had no idea how they were calculated. In this video, we'll explore that a little bit more by splitting it up into two categories. One is to compute the average inventory at cost, which would be using the cost of purchasing the items. The other one would be average inventory at retail, which would be using the selling price of each of the items. We're going to use these two different ways of calculating average inventory to look at two ways of looking at turnover. So now what is turnover? Turnover is a measure of how quickly inventory is being used. For example, a turnover of 4 means that you sold 4 times the average amount of inventory. And a turnover of 6 would mean that you sold 6 times the average amount of inventory. So we're going to have two ways of calculating, as I mentioned. First is the turnover at retail, which will be the retail sales, so how much you sold, divided by the average inventory at retail. And the other one would be turnover at cost, which would be the cost of the goods sold, so how much you paid in total for the items that were sold, divided by the average inventory at cost. So let's look at an example. A company has an average inventory at cost of $22,390 and an average inventory at retail of $32,360. The cost of goods sold was $178,469 and the retail sales totaled $259,968. Find the turnover at cost and the turnover at retail. Alright, so if we look at turnover at retail first, we take the retail sales of $259,968 divided by the average inventory at retail of $32,360. When you do that division, you get 8.03. Now if we do the turnover at cost, we're going to take the cost of goods sold, which was $178,469, and divide by the average inventory at cost, which is $22,390, which gives us a value of 7.97. Now notice that the two different ways of computing turnover will give us different values. In this case, they ended up being pretty similar, which is to be expected because there is going to be a similarity between the retail price of an item and the cost of it.